Hello, hello! Pete's Pax here, and we're back with Throwback Thursday, episode number 18. And today we've got Beatdown from, I believe, 2000? Yeah, from 2000. This features exclusive art with Singular Vampire and Aramgen. Or I guess Ernamgen fighting one another. Several of them, in fact. But each one of these contains two 61-card pre-constructed decks that each contain 5 rares. And there's a premium creature card featuring never-before-seen art included in each deck. Oh, there's foil. Yeah, so each one has a foil, and then there's 2 special spin-down counters, a locker poster, and a full-color booklet. Also, these boxes were fantastic for carrying around collections in. This is one badass set. Yeah, it is. Alright, so let's get into this Beatdown box from 2000. If I remember correctly, this was the 3rd of the box sets that they did. See, we did anthologies last week, and then there was Battle Royale, which was a multiplayer one, and Beatdown. I think Battle Royale was in 99. I know Anthologies was in 98. This has a neat little slipcover, which we will be saving. And then we have the box with the old WotC logo on it. It has changed a bit since then. This was my favorite one, though. The purple into blue. And the art on the box is by Greg Staples. Alright, so we got the booklet. This cool poster. With exclusive art. Very cool. I don't think it has anything on the back. Oh, it does have something on the back. Apparently an ad for Invasion. Yeah. Invasion is in full force. Very cool. We have the player response card. Good old Arena League, ECI, man. These always take me back. We've got 2 deck boxes. We've got the Aramgen, or Ernamgen rather. 2 really nice dice. Black Lotus on them. A white one and a black one. And we have our Singular Vampire deck. Along with spacer inserts to hold them up. So you can use this as a thing to store your deck boxes afterwards. We will keep this all together afterwards. So we'll leave those in. I will say, floating around somewhere, I have mine from around 2000. I actually got mine like closer to 2001. Traded for it. I still have all the cards that came with it. So we've got our first deck with our Ernamgen. First appearance of foil Ernamgen. and Singir Vampire, both with new art. Dave Dorman and Jeff Easley providing the art for these. And funny thing, they actually made these boxes big enough to hold the decks sleeved, which I thought was really cool. Unfortunately, they stopped doing that shortly after this, but it is what it is. And then we have a full color booklet. Oh, I forgot it had pictures of some of the original playtest cards. We got our deck list. So one of the decks is called Ground Pounder. Little guide on it. And Arrow Doom. So Ground Pounder appears to be green-red, and then Arrow Doom is blue-black. And a whole bunch of stuff on like the different process and card design. Killer Whale. It's talking about the Pro Tour. Gallery. The art for Singir Vampire. Just wicked cool art. Ernum Gen, Fallen Angel. Although that is not new art for this. Clockwork Avian. Clockwork Beast. Leviathan, Mahamadi Gen. Fog Elemental, Ball Lightning. This actually is the original printing for this art of Ball Lightning. So that's pretty cool. You have a Maya Worm, Shambling Strider. Very cool. Credits and more credits. Nice. All right. So let's get into the actual decks. Go. Hey, we've actually got a poll on this. Right. We have the only black border card in this deck, which is Ernum Gen. 3 and a green for a 4/5 Gen. At the beginning of your upkeep, target non-wall creature and opponent controls gains Forest Walk until your next upkeep. The creature is unblockable as long as defending player controls a forest. So, an art by Dave Dorman. Of course, one of the cool things with this is you could just sacrifice your forest, so didn't really have a drawback. Or you could just blow up all the lands, and he's fantastic. Bloodrock Cyclops, 2 and a red for a 3/3 giant. Attacks each turn if able. Sonic Burst, 1 and a red instant. As an additional cost to play Sonic Burst, discard a card at random from your hand. It deals 4 damage to target creature or player. So a cool thing with this is if you played it with like Fiery Temper or a Madness card, it's pretty nice. Shock. Red for an instant, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Lava Axe. 1 and a red, sorcery, 5 damage to target player. Catch. Curd Ape, affectionately also known as Turd Ape. But for red, you get a 1/1 ape that gets +1/+2 as long as you control a forest. One of the 4 original Zoo cards. Also where Zoo got its name. Fireball. This is one of the funny templatings for it. XY red. Sorcery. Fireball deals X damage divided evenly, rounded down among Y+1 target creatures and or players. Also, there's a really cool kerning error on that. Tall Room Minotaur. 2 red red for a 3/3 Minotaur with haste. I think this was also one of the earlier instances of having the keyword haste. This creature may attack and tap the turn it comes under your control. Thunderbolt, 1 in a red instant. Choose 1, deals 3 damage to target player, or 4 damage to target creature with flying. Lowland Giant, 2 red red for a 4/3 giant. It's just vanilla 4/3. Raging Goblin, for red you get a 1/1 goblin with haste. Nice. Lightning Bolt. This was the last, if I remember correctly, this was the last white border printing of Lightning Bolt. I think the next time it got printed was either 10th edition or M10 after this. But for red, you get an instant, deals 3 damage to target creature or player. Later errated to any target, which was also the original wording. Viashino Warrior, 3 in a red for a vanilla 4/2 Viashino. It's now just a lizard warrior, I believe. Yavimaya Worm, a functional reprint of Crawl Worm. But 4 red red, 4 green green for a 6/4 worm with trample. Giant Growth. For green, you get an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Fog. For green, instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Quirion Elves. 1 in a green for a 1/1 elf. When it comes into play, choose a color. Tap for a green and tap to add 1 mana of the chosen color to your mana pool. Shambling Strider. 4 green green for a 5/5 Strider. Red green, it gets +1/-1 until end of turn. Plated Spider. 4 in a green for 4/4 Spider. It may block as though it had flying. This was before reach was a keyword. Wild Growth. For green, you can enchant land. Now an aura. Aura enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds green to his or her mana pool. Crash of Rhinos. 6 green green for an 8/4 rhino with trample. Excuse me. A Deadly Insect. 4 in a green for a 6/1 creature insect. Can't be the target of spells or abilities. Which was what Shroud used to be. Or what was Shroud before Shroud. Llanowar Elves. For a green, you get a 1/1 elf. Taps for a green. Back in standard. First time in a while. Rampant Growth. 1 in a green. Sorcery. Search your library for a basic land. Put it under the battlefield tap. Then shuffle. This is actually where we get the term ramp from. Because of Rampant Growth. Scaled Worm. 7 in a green for a 7/6 vanilla worm. Thundering Giant. 3 red red for 4/3 giant with haste. Woolly Spider. 1 green green for 2/3 spider. It can block as though it had flying, and whenever it blocks a creature with flying, it gets +0/+2 until end of turn. Funny enough, this was part of the deck that won the first Pro Tour, if I remember correctly. Hulking Cyclops. 3 red red for a 5/5 giant that can't block. Crashing Boars. 3 green green for 4/4 boar. Whenever it attacks, defending player chooses an untapped creature he or she controls. That creature blocks Crashing Boars this turn if able. So it must be blocked at least once, pretty much. Segmented Worm. 3 red green for a 5/5 worm. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability, put a -1/-1 counter on it. Ball Lightning. Red 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 for a 6/1 Ball Lightning. I think this has later been errated to be an elemental. With trample and haste, at the end of turn, sacrifice Ball Lightning. Shivan Dragon. Yes. With the original art, too. 4 red red for a 5/5 dragon with flying. For a red, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Still my favorite art for Shivan Dragon. Balduvian Horde. 2 red for a 5/5 creature barbarian. I believe this is now a human barbarian. When it comes into play, sacrifice it unless you discard a card at random from your hand. Back when our 5/5s for 4 had downsides. Now it's all upside. Force of Nature. 2 green for an 8/8 creature force with trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, Force of Nature deals 8 damage to you unless you pay green. Crazy good creature that could backfire. Clockwork Beast. 6 mana, 0/4 artifact creature. It comes into play with 7+1+0 counters on it. It can't have more than 7+1+0 counters on it. At end of combat, if it attacked or blocked this turn, remove a +1+0 counter from it. X tap, put X +1+0 counters on Clockwork Beast. Play this ability only during your upkeep. Slippery Karst. Enters tap, taps for green, cycles for 2. Same but in red. Smoldering Crater. Dwarven Ruins. Enters tapped, taps for red, and you can tap and sacrifice it to add red to your mana pool. Haven Battleground. Same but for green. Then we have our basics. We have Mountain. Oh, I completely forgot to go over the artists for each of these. It's alright. Got Dave Dorman, Tom Vanderstrand, Brian Snowdy, Randy Gallegos, Brian Snowdy, Kevin Meyer Jr., Mark Tedden, Pete Ventures, Dylan Martins, Paulo Parente, Jeff Miracola, Christopher Rush, Roger Raup, Melissa A. Benson, Dieter Lizzie, Harold McNeil, Randy Gallegos, Douglas Schuler, Ron Spencer, Mike Robb, Steve White, Randy Gallegos, Anson Maddox, Tom Kiffin, Daniel Gellin, Mark Zug, Daniel Gellin, Paulo Parente, Ron Spencer, Jeff Miracola, Dave Dorman, Melissa A. Benson, Brian Snowdy, Douglas Schuler, Carl Critchlow, Stephen Danielle, Mark Tedden, Liz Danforth. Yeah. Now we have Mountain, John Avon. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Another Mountain, Doug Schuler. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another Mountain, Rob Alexander. Favorite landscape artist. 1, 2, 3. Now we have Forest by Douglas Schuler. 1, 2, 3, 4. Forest by John Avon. 1, 3, 4. Another Forest by John Avon. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Alright, now to the Sengir Vampire deck. I believe this is also the first appearance of Sengir Vampire in foil, but I could be wrong. Can't remember if Sengir Vampire was in 6th edition or not. Not 6th edition, 7th edition. Which would have been before this and foil. If not, then this would be the first foil printing of Sengir Vampire. But we have 3 black for a 4/4 vampire with flying. And whenever a creature dealt damage by Singear Vampire this turn, it's put into a graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Singear Vampire. With art by Jeff Easley. Counter spell. Absolutely classic. Blue, instant, counter target spell. Art by L.A. Williams. That's the Ice Age art, I think. Pretty sure that's Ice Age. Vigilant Drake. 4 and a blue for a 3/3 Drake with flying. And 2 and a blue, untapped Vigilant Drake. Art by Greg Staples. A lot of combos with this. Impulse. 1 and a blue. Instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. Funny enough, the original printing of this, in I believe Visions, it was either Visions or Mirage, actually has a misprint. It tells you to shuffle. And then art by Brian Talbot. Gaseous Form, 2 and a blue, enchant creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by enchanted creature. Art by Roger Raup. Giant Crab, 4 and a blue for a 3/3 crab. For blue, it can't be the target of spells or abilities this turn. Art by Tom Kiffin. Fog Elemental. Oh, there's a face there. I don't remember there being a face there. 2 and a blue for a 4/4 elemental or creature elemental with flying. Whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at end of combat. Brainstorm, the Ice Age art. For blue, it's an instant. Draw 3 cards, then put 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Art by Christopher Rush. Absolutely iconic art. Cloud Elemental. 2 and a blue for a 2/3 elemental with flying, and it can block only creatures with flying. I was always confused as to why this looked like it was on fire, but I mean, it is a cloud. It's a whole thing. Snapping Drake, another absolutely iconic piece of art. 3 and a blue for a 3/2 Drake with flying. Art by Christopher Rush. Tolarian Winds, one of my favorite cards of all time. 1 and a blue instant. Discard your hand, then draw that many cards. Art by Lawrence Snelly. Wayward Soul. 2 blue for a 3/2 spirit with flying. For a blue, you put it on top of its owner's library. Power Sink. X and a blue, instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If he or she doesn't, that player taps all lands he or she controls and empties his or her mana pool. Great card. It's just a good way of getting your opponent to tap out. Feral Shadow. 2 and a black for a 2/1 Night Stalker with flying. Skittering Horror. 2 and a black for 4/3 horror. When you play a creature spell, sacrifice Skittering Horror. Tar Pit Warrior. 2 and a black for a 3/4 giant. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Art by... I keep doing that. Okay, I know the last one I did was Tolarian Winds. Dieter Lizzie for Wayward Soul. Mark Poole for Power Sink. Cliff Nielsen for Feral Shadow. Mark Zug for Skittering Horror. I love his creatures. And George Pratt for Tar Pit Warrior. Deathstroke. Black, sorcery, destroy target tapped creature. Art by Colin McNeil. Terror. 1 and a black, instant. Classic art by Ron Spencer. Destroy target artifact or non-artifact non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Dark Ritual. For a black instant, add 3 black to your mana pool. Art by Clint Langley. Drain Life. 1 black sorcery. Spend only black mana on X. Deals X damage to target creature or player. You gain life equal to the damage dealt, but not more than not more life than the player's life total before drain life dealt damage or the creature's toughness. Art by Andrew Robinson. Basically, it's to keep you from overpaying to gain more. Bone Harvest. 2 and a black, instant. Art by Greg Simonson. Put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Coercion. 2 and a black sorcery. Look at target opponent's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card. We got Thoughtseize at home. Diabolic Edict. Oh, art by Pete Ventures. Diabolic Edict. 1 and a black instant. Target player sacrifices a creature. Art by Ron Spencer. Gravedigger. 3 and a black for a 2/2 zombie. When it comes into play, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Art by Dermot Power. Hollow Dogs. 4 and a black for a 3/3 hound. Whenever it attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Art by Jeff Miracola. Skittering Scourge. Black for a 3/2 imp with flying. Whenever you play a creature spell, sacrifice Skittering Scourge. Art by Ron Spencer. Killer Whale. 3 blue for a 3/5 whale. And for a blue, it gains flying until end of turn. Art by Stephanie Danielle. Cloud Djinn. 5 and a blue for a 5/4 Djinn with flying. Can only block creatures with flying. Air Elemental. 3 blue for a 4/4 elemental with flying. Art by Doug Chaffee. Diabolic Vision. Blue-black for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the top of your library in any order. Art by Anthony S. Waters. Such a creepy card. I love the art on it. Blizzard Elemental. 5 blue for a 5/5 elemental with flying. 3 and a blue, untap Blizzard Elemental. Art by Thomas M. Baxa. Leviathan. 5 blue for a 10/10 Leviathan with trample. It comes into play tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice 2 islands. If you do, untap Leviathan. Leviathan can't attack unless you sacrifice 2 islands. This card is terrible. It has always been terrible, but it has had some really cool combo potential. Mahamadi Djinn. 4 blue for a 5/6 Djinn with flying. Oh, Leviathan was illustrated by Mark Tedden. With art by Dan Frazier on Mahamadi Djinn. Fallen Angel. 3 black for a 3/3 angel with flying. Sacrifice a creature. Fallen Angel gets +2/+1 until end of turn. Art by Anson Maddox. Clockwork Aven. 5 mana, 0/4 artifact creature. Comes into play with 4 +1/+0 counters on it. It can't have more than 4. At the end of combat, if it attacked or blocked this turn, remove a +1/+0 counter from it. And then X and tap, put X +1/+0 counters on Clockwork Aven. Play this ability only during your upkeep. Remote Isle. It's a land that cycles for 2, comes into play tapped, and taps for a blue. Polluted Mire. I keep doing that with the art. Clockwork Aven, or Avian, rather. Art by Randy Asplund. And then Remote Island has art by Cerulio. Polluted Mire. Cycles for 2, comes in taps for a black. Art by Stephen Danielle. Ebon Stronghold. Art by Liz Danforth, who did this whole cycle, and this is the 5th edition art. Comes into play tapped, taps for black, and then you can tap and sacrifice it for black. Sphalanite Temple. Art by Liz Danforth. Comes into play taps for a blue. You can tap and sacrifice it to add blue. I love the whole series of these. Her art is amazing. Then we have Swamp by John Avon. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. We have a Swamp by Romus. I believe this is one of the arts from Tempest. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Swamp by Douglas Schuler. Pretty sure that's one of the Ice Age arts. 2, 3. Island with art by Tony Sakuzlo? I probably butchered that. I am sorry, Tony. Pretty sure that's from Tempest. It's either Tempest or Urza Saga. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Island by John Avon. Don't remember which set that one's from. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's actually Portal 2. And then we have Island by Mark Poole from Beta or Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and Revised, and 4th edition. We have 1, 2, 3 of them. Very nice. All right. Well, even though I stumbled a bit more than normal, it's still a lot of fun with these. I am looking forward to getting to play with these sometime soon. But thank you for joining me on this adventure. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. Really helps us out, and I really appreciate it. We are trying to grow the channel up to at least 1,000 subscribers, so if you're not subscribed, please consider it. Yeah, it really helps us out, and helps me keep bringing cool videos like this to all of you. So yeah, until next time, stay awesome. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.